Hello there, folks. This quick video today is going to show you how to create what I call a simple saltwater disposal site truck name enter. I have a customer that called and asked if there was a way for an HMI to have a listing of truck names and for an operator to enter in whatever trucking company he worked for. And if it happens to be one of the ones that's approved or in the listing, then the HMI would let him enter in oil and water, gas values, and other things that he might be dropping off at a saltwater disposal site or what have you. So here's an example that I haven't wrote it in Crimson 3.1 here, and this I'll go through the example, the database first, and I'll show you how it works. So you got a home page here, and what happens if they click on this button here? It jumps to the names page. Now, the names page, this is where the person will enter the names that are valid, that are local on the HMI. So this would be a page that only the owner or the boss would be able to get access to enter these names. And then once those are put in there, then the operator would go to the test names page, and here that person would have to enter a valid trucking company that is listed. That person would have to know, the operator would have to know a valid truck name to get to the page that does oil and water. Once they enter a proper name here and the logic checks it, if it finds a match, then it will allow this button here to show up, and then that will take them to the oil and water page, which is in case they can enter data. So let me show you how this works, so then I'll explain some of the code behind the scenes. So here I've got the web page up because you can't really see the HMI, so I'm using the web page to show this. So if I click on the names button right here, now look at this. I was telling you that you had to have some security to get here. So what I've done, and I kind of on this database, because I'll share those with anybody, I've hidden behind the scenes, but the username is boss, and the password's real simple, just 1234. So if I click this, you can see I already entered boss before, so I'll hit the enter button, and the password is 1234, 134, hit enter, boom. Once I do that, you can see that I've already played with this, and I've added some names, and I've made this database so that it will hold 20 different names in here. So let's say right now I'm up to number 11 here. So if I wanted to add a new name here, I don't know, let's say Target, for instance. I'm just picking out names here. So Target went in at index number 10. Amazon was 11. I'll just leave that same. Let's put it in again here. And then, I don't know, Shopco. How about that? We'll say there's a Shopco Trucking, for instance, and so forth. And maybe we'll throw another one here. You can see. There we go. So I've just added, I haven't filled up the whole array, no big deal. But this is what's in here now. So once I've done that, I'll click the test names. So if I pick either UPS or TJ, for instance, let's say that. So if I click the test names, this is what the operator, truck driver, would get here. And if I enter the wrong name, I'm just going to put in runner. You'll see that it doesn't get a match. I should maybe make a pop-up that says wrong name or something, but I haven't done that. But anyway, so nothing happens. But if I put in a correct name of a trucking company, can't remember, it's TJ. TJ worked. So there was a match found. All of a sudden, this button became visible. So now I can click on this button, and here I can go, and I'm just pretending that guy can put in different values from a flow meter or something, whatever. But anyway, this would work and so forth, and that's what the person wants to do. If I click the test names again, it brings me back to this page, clears it out here. So again, if I'm over here and I put in some other name, Joe's Trucking, for instance, see, it never got anywhere. But if I put in, I think I had one, Wazoo, that became valid. Oh, let me try something. Let me put in something else here. Well, let me go here, because now I would be valid. I go here. I can change these numbers to whatever. No big deal. Okay. If I go back to here, I just want to see. I don't know if I made this case sensitive. Let's see. I guess not. It's not case sensitive. Okay, good. Anyway, so that's how that operates. If I hit the names button here, this one here, it'll take me back to that page. But again, look, I have to authenticate. So I'll put in boss, and I'll put in 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And that gets me to this page here where I can enter names and so forth. And I'll exit here, which brings us back to the main page right here. Okay, so that's the simple example of how it works. Let me show you, well, that's how it operates. Let me show you how the code works. So in this case, we go to this page here. A couple things I'll point out to you. Whenever the person puts a name in here, so let me double click on this. Notice it's linked to a tag called enter name. Over here, notice it's a blue tag, means it's internal, it's not mapped to anything external. Notice the truck names. Oh, let me go through that real quick. Let me go back to data tags. So over here in data tags on the left, I've got an index. That's just a number from 0 to 20, whatever, it's just an internal tag. Then I have this one here called truck names. Now notice something. This, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but this is a slightly different color, like purple, compared to all the others are blue. Purple means that it's set up as an array, and I'm allowing that array to have up to 20 elements in that array, 0 through number 19. And I'm allowing Crimson to allocate up to 100 characters for the truck, for the whole name, if you will. So I'm leaving that up to maximum 100. And also down here, I set this up as retentive. So it's going to allocate 20 array locations, each with 100 characters each, and it's going to keep those resident in the HMI. So if somebody cycles power to the HMI, what have you, it'll keep those names, which is very nice. And then over here on the left, the entered name, all that is just an internal tag that we're going to enter from the screen. And then we have this match flag tag. It's either a 0 for no match. So if I go here to the format tab, off state, no match, on state, match found. And then I have an oil, and these are just some internal tags that we're using. But so now if I go back here to this page, let me show you this. So here's the entered name. If I right click on this guy and go to properties, I'm going to show you something. You can see it's just tied to the tag called enter name. I just pretty much took this and drug it right there, no big deal. However, when I click the entry tab, this is where some of the magic happens. When I click on the entry tab, you see down here you've got some of these actions. On the entry complete here, notice I said do some stuff when enter is complete. Well, let me show you what that stuff is. I'll click the edit button here, and this brings up just a simple complex code I got running. So the first thing I do is I take that entered name that the person put in, and bam, I put it into truck names, whatever index value is. I'm assuming that when you come in this, the index is at 0, but who knows. And then I increment index for the next time. And then down here, I'm asking, hey, if index is at the max 20, roll that back over to 0. That only happens if it's greater than or equal to 20. If not, I also clear the previous entered name. So that's what happens on that thing in that field. And then one more thing I want to show you. On this particular page, notice that security manager. So if I right click here and go to properties anywhere on the page, notice that there's nothing here, nothing really there. But under the actions, when I leave the page, I'm using the on remove to user log off. And then if I go to the security tab, look at here, I've set up access control for R1. So I'll show you that later down here in security who that guy is. So that's how the security works. So then once this gets done, if the guy clicks on this button here, all I have that doing is I'm taking you to the test names page. So if we go to that page, we'll jump to that page right here. Boom. So here we've got this working. Now here's the next trick. If I double click on this field, notice it's nothing more than entered name. No big deal. I'm using that as an internal tag. But if I go to the entry tab here, look at this. On the entry tab, I've got a program called test names. I could have wrote the whole thing here, but instead I got a program here. So I'm going to show you that program. I'll click OK. And then I think if I right click on this, I can do jump to. It'll take me to that program, or you can also click over here in the left side to go to that program. So I'll take you to this program called test names. And this program is pretty simple. I declare an internal J. I'm using the index. I set it to 0. And then I do a for loop because I wanted to run through every entry of the truck names and compare it with the person entered in. If it finds a match at that index into that array, then I set match equals to 0. For some reason, I wanted to keep track of what index value that was, so I take J, make it equal index, and then the break will kick you out of the loop. This stuff in here, team, only happens if it finds a match. If it doesn't find a match and it just loops through the whole 20 times, I make match equal to 0. This program runs really quick. Try millisecond. I don't even know how fast, but it's real fast. Anyway, so that's what happens there. And then if I go over here to Security Manager, on the Security Manager, I have just a user named Boss here. I made up some name, John Doe. This is what would be logged if I was logging it, but this is the easy way. I put in Boss, and then I just put a password here of 1234, and I gave that guy user rights 1. So that setting is what allows the operator to get into here to make changes. Otherwise, everybody could find out what the names are, and then it would not validate the test. So that's how this works. I think it's a really simple way to do this. Previous to this method, I have lots of other YouTube videos where I use a Excel spreadsheet on the SD card, and then we go into lots of programs to read the data. That requires a lot more code. So I think this idea that I've got running with the simple saltwater disposal with local names is pretty darn cool, if you ask me. So anyway, that's a quick video on how to do this. And if you want this database, feel free to send me an email and I'll certainly share with you. Hey, thanks a lot. Have a great day, folks.